I love Reykjavik. It's a cozy little city that's easy to get around on foot. It has a really fun vibe. There's lots of hole-in-the-wall places, and the locals have a laid-back approach and a strong sense of community and culture. All right, we're finally reunited with the Forerunner.
We did it!
Yeah. Sitting up there marked a huge accomplishment for us. We had fulfilled a goal that many have, but few achieve: intercontinental overland travel.
Night one. We're camping. We made it.
Yeah, it's our first night in the truck and in the tent. And we were greeted by 1 million angry birds. And I think that they're not going to sleep anytime soon. It's like 11:15 and it's still like twilight out. And the birds are still really angry.
But we made it. We're in Iceland. We're camping.
We thought we had come a long way to be here, but it turns out these birds came from even farther away. These Arctic terns have the longest migration, by far, of any animal on the planet. They'll spend summer here, near the Arctic, then in the fall, they'll migrate south past Europe and Africa to the Antarctic, just in time to enjoy summer year-round. After the short night of sleep, we broke camp quickly and moved down the coast to the small and unique fishing village of Arnarstapi.
Good morning. Where are we?
We're in Arnarstapi. Last night was our first night in the tent. I slept pretty well.
I slept okay.
Yeah, it rained and we were surrounded by a cacophony of some kind of bird. I think we've got similar birds around us right now. We'll have to figure out what those are. We fueled up with the coffee, got on the road pretty quick, and now we're ready to take a hike.
Yep.
See some geology.
Just a bit into our exploration of Arnarstapi, we found a huge statue made from stacked stones. The statue is of Bárður Snaefellsnes. Bárður's story is retold in Icelandic saga that likely has origins in actual events. It's said that Bárður moved up into a cave above Arnarstapi after a terrible fight within his family. Over time, he became the guardian of the peninsula, helping people when they were most in need. The otherworldly geology of Arnarstapi is the result of lava being worn away by the harsh North Atlantic Sea. The curves and the shapes show how the lava was flowing thousands of years ago. As the magma cooled, it forms geometric columns of rock. The sea gradually sweeps away at the softer rock, leaving the hard basalt columns behind. We found ourselves stopping all the time and just staring. I mean, some of the formations are just unbelievable. Just arches and peepholes and narrow slots with beautiful, clear, calm water. Bright green mosses and a handful of waterfalls in the distance. It's got a kind of Moria meets Shire meets Rivendell kind of landscape. And the wildlife viewing was excellent. The gulls roosting in the cliffs are only present during 3 months in the summertime. The rest of the year they fly south and spend time farther out at sea. The gull gets its name, Kittiwake, from the sound of its squawk. Kittiwake! 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 The colony will vocalize all day, only stopping when the sun goes down. These birds have mastered the art of existence in one of nature's most treacherous environments. Building a home on these precarious cliffs is no easy task. With an innate sense of balance and determination, kittiwakes will weave together a sturdy nest, ensuring the safety of its precious eggs. Monogamous by nature, kittiwake pairs will bond for life. reaffirming their commitment through elaborate courtship rituals. These displays of affection and synchronized dances strengthen the pair's connection, setting the foundation for a successful breeding season. Unfortunately, kittiwake numbers are on the decline, perhaps from the impact of fishing in the kittiwake's habitat or from changes to the global climate. The kittiwake story is one of resilience, adaptability, and unwavering determination. As they face the challenges presented by a changing world, these birds serve as a reminder of the delicate balance between nature's beauty and the responsibility we share in preserving it. We were also stoked to catch a glimpse of a harbor seal floating peacefully below the cliffs to wrap up our time at Arnarstapi. We continued down the coastline west of Arnarstapi for more volcanic cliffs and more amazing kittiwake colonies as we entered the national park area. At one turnout, we discovered a zip line we just had to try.
Best time of your life?
Yeah, the end's kind of terrifying because you're like, I'm going real fast and this thing ends. Amanda is not much of a thrill seeker, so I was surprised first by her willingness to do the zipline, and second by her positive reaction.
That was kind of fun.
Just past the zipline, there was a long, narrow beach made of millions of gravel-sized black stones that were worn into smooth pebbles. We had the beach all to ourselves and were able to enjoy a moment of solitude and appreciate Malarifi, or Gravel Reef, with its lovely lighthouse. It was little private moments like this one that made us appreciate the value of being able to move at our own pace and spend time how we wanted. We were slowly learning how to take advantage of this style of travel and become fully immersed and relaxed in our surroundings.
I will be waking up to you.
Snaefelsnes Peninsula sits a couple hours north of Reykjavik and gained notoriety in Jules Verne's 1864 science fiction novel, Journey to the Center of the Earth. In the book, Professor Otto Lindenbrock and his nephew Axel and their Icelandic guide Hans traverse the peninsula and rappel into a volcanic passage under the Snaefellsnes glacier. I read the book as a boy and can still recall it stoking a desire for adventure and exploring uncharted lands. It seems appropriate that the initial days of our first international overland trip would lead us here, following in the footsteps of the characters that had inspired me and put me on this trajectory years ago. Our next stop on the peninsula was Djupalonssandur. The beach has incredible black sand below dramatic and jagged cliffs. The beach also bears a haunting reminder of the treacherous waters that surround the coast of Iceland. A British trawler ran aground here in March of 1948. It's not clear if the grounding was the result of a navigational error or perhaps the influence of supernatural forces. Sadly, of the 19 crew members on board, only 5 survived with the aid of rescue crews from the surrounding villages. Today, the shipwreck lies partially submerged in the black sands of the beach, serving as a testament to the forces of nature and the fragility of human endeavors. The skeletal remains of the vessel protrude from the shoreline, its rusted metal structure standing in contrast against the black beach and its crashing waves. While I found myself reflecting on the tragedy, Amanda's thoughts were more in the moment. What are you thinking about?
I was thinking about food. But now, it's like midday, we're sitting at the beach, and it's pretty enjoyable.
The history of Djupalonssandur runs deep, intertwining into the fabric of Icelandic folklore. For centuries, the bay was one of the most active and fruitful fishing areas in Iceland. The shallow beach allowed for relatively straightforward access for small boats and their cargo. So in the spring fishing months, Djupalonssandur would become a small hamlet of huts and fishing boats with up to 400 people living here. At the time, there was stiff competition for different positions in the fishing crews. In order to determine who got what position, the crew members would audition their strength by lifting different sized boulders on the beach. The bigger the boulder a fisherman could lift, the more challenging position they would receive, along with better pay.
There's some cool, like, little tiny mussel big plants on the rocks.
The significance of Djupalonssandur goes all the way back to the cradle of Iceland. Remember Barður, the guardian spirit of the peninsula? This bay is said to be where his ship first landed as he was immigrating from Norway. One of the rock formations is called Barðurskip, meaning Barður's ship, in reference to this legendary settler.
The views from up here are just beautiful. And you can see to the bottom of the water that's over here in this like little tide pool. And then you have just ocean skyline everywhere else. So today is good.
We kept following the road up the coast and taking any turnout that looked interesting. We turned off on a dirt road that led to an unnamed trail that continued out along the coast. We were surprised to find more evidence of shipwrecks embedded in the ground as we followed the trail. At the National Park Visitor Center, we were told to be on the lookout for birds that like to dry their wings out in the sun. Once we finally came across the cormorants, I started to understand why people like bird watching. Each type of bird has its particular habits and rituals that they'll put on display for you. It's pretty entertaining and even funny at times to watch. The trail ended at remnants of an abandoned, mysterious, isolated structure of unknown use or origin. And while Snæfellsjökull had remained shrouded in the clouds all morning, we were starting to get peeks at the glacier.
This is Snæfellsjökull from Jules Verne's Journey to the Center of the Earth. That's the volcano that they descend into on their way to the center of the Earth.
I was so excited to finally get to experience the massive ice cap in person that I had previously only seen in my imagination while reading Verne's adventure tale. With happy hour approaching, we went in search of some refreshments.
It's like a little well of water down there.
I can smell the rock.
They said one of them is supposed to have like ale in them, one of them is supposed to have holy water in them, and the other one is just supposed to have regular water. Let's go find the one that has ale in it.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah.
We didn't wind up finding any ale, so with the day getting long, we started looking for camp. We found a nice spot by a lava field in the shadow of the glacier.
What's for dinner, Chef?
Sausage and pasta. And I'm real hungry.
When dinner was done, we crashed out from the long day. The next morning, we opened the tent to find the lava field glowing in the dawn light and the glacier completely revealed in the distance. Once we had coffee on hand, we sat down to reflect on the previous day.
So I guess it's day 3 on the road. Yesterday we did Arnarstapi, saw a bunch of cool geology, some birds. Then we went to the national park, did the zip line, and walked on the beach a little bit. Learned about the birds that are squawking and what other birds to look out for. Let's see, what was after that? Then it was the volcano crater.
Oh yeah, we found this random road that just led us to this little tiny volcano crater.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then we pulled in behind some Unimogs. There are a couple, it's a German and a Swiss Unimog. We hiked to some ruins that we're still trying to figure out what they are.
I wiped out, fell on my butt.
And then when we came back, I think the Unimog folks were taking a nap, and so they were up and they were looking at the Forerunner. I think that they knew about the GFC tent, so they're pretty interested in that. We talked about, how this can actually fit into a garage and theirs cannot, so they were kind of jealous of that. They had been here 1 month already, and they were staying for 2 months. They had pretty good English, and I've tried some broken German to get us started, and seemed to work out. The two Unimog people weren't friends before, but I guess when you're driving a Unimog around Iceland and run to other German speakers, you start your own club. So that's kind of cool to see that they had made some trail friends. And then we drove out to a couple lighthouses, saw the spring, and I think we came here.
Yep.
So
Settled in for camp, had a pretty bomb dinner that we made, had some good sleep, woke up, now we're here.
yesterday was really intense. It was like you drive 5 minutes and then you're at something else incredible. I think today might be a little bit more driving time. We're going to drive up and hopefully touch the glacier behind us. That's Snæfellsjökull. That's, again, the volcano from Journey to the Center of the Earth. I want to go up. There's a gravel path that goes through the saddle. We're hoping we can get out of the truck, hike a little bit, touch the glacier, stretch our legs. Then I think we're going to try to catch a ferry up to the West Fjords. Yesterday we were talking, and today's Friday? Yeah, so if we were on like a normal 9-day try to squeeze it all in vacation, it'd be like almost done. And for us on this trip, it feels like we're just getting started, so it's a really different vibe from what we're used to.
Shortly after leaving camp, the road began to climb, and the Forerunner could finally stretch its legs on some trails as we started gaining altitude. The atmosphere at the top was absolutely surreal. I had been playing the Journey to the Center of the Earth audiobook since we had been reunited with the Forerunner, so to be here now, surrounded by shifting mist, my excitement was off the charts for the ceremonial touching of the glacier.
I touched it.
I just couldn't get over the atmosphere up here. Maybe it was the juxtaposition of the moody Mount Doom mist around the volcano and me absolutely bubbling with excitement. I just have to say, my heart was full. Continuing on past the glacier, the fog lifted and there was a strange rise in the road with a small turnout we decided to investigate.
I came around the corner and there's a little hiking trail. And so you're driving over this cave system. Kind of wild.
If you remember back to the giant guardian, Barthur, it turns out that this cave was his shelter and home as he watched over the peninsula. The landscape of Iceland is a tapestry on which Icelandic saga has been playing out for hundreds of years. Our final stop on Snaefelsnes Peninsula was Kirkjufell, which gained recognition as Arrowhead Mountain in Game of Thrones. This is a much more prominent location for visitors and took some adjustment after our isolation at previous locations, but eventually we embraced our inner tourist. Even with people around to share the spot, it's still a spellbinding location. The mountain is so steep and sharp, it's like a enormous shark's tooth. It really does tap into a subconscious part of your brain and demand attention. Adding to the intrigue is a deep, sparkling, crashing waterfall. I also couldn't help but notice how Kirkjufell was in bright sunlight with a blue backdrop, yet only a couple hundred feet away, the cliffs in the other direction were completely shrouded in wispy clouds. It had me wondering, are there hidden forces at work manipulating the weather at Kirkjufell? While we could have easily spent more time on the Snaefelsnes Peninsula, we were feeling a pull to get deeper into Iceland. Having no experience using ferries in Iceland, we didn't know to reserve a spot and were put on the wait list to see if there would be extra room once all the reservation holders were already on board.
We're in Stykkishólm, trying to get on the ferry. We're on the wait list number 4. This is like a 3-hour boat ride that bypasses hours of driving, so that's why we're trying to get on the boat.
Needless to say, tensions were high for us as more and more vehicles loaded into the ferry ahead of us.